I don't have a clue why my Omar died. Not a clue. One moment he was screaming, yelling, crying, as usual. The next moment he was dead. At least he's at peace now. Which wasn't even remotely the case before he died. He wasn't at peace. If he was at peace, I would have been constantly wondering if I was being selfish, not having him euthanized, not letting him go. Now fate took the decision out of my hands. My head hurts. I don't usually get headaches. My head hurts. In the end, the bottom line was, and this obviously isn't the case with all dogs, I point you to that Beneful commercial. That dog in the Beneful commercial that has to use that wheelchair because it has no use of its hind legs has to accept that when it's not in the wheelchair, it's not able to stand up. Omar was unable to accept it. Probably because being completely 100% blind and being put in the pen, but again, he's got blankets, he's got a soft bed, he's safe, he could just go to sleep or just relax. Instead, it's struggling and crying and injuring himself. I showed you the one nipple. I spent hundreds at the vets to make sure that it wasn't cancer. It was an inflamed nipple, and it happened from him struggling to get up and not being unable to. But in this instance, I don't know what happened. I don't fucking know what happened. If that bed is too soft for him to be in, then he could have died before, because I've periodically left the house and had him in that soft bed, okay? I can't believe he's dead. I can't believe he died like that. No warning, nothing, just... I don't know what happened. I thought, like, he's safe in the soft bed. Because the soft bed, you can't injure your nipple. It's still red and, and it's still scabbed over. You can't injure your nipple struggling to get up in the soft bed. You can't injure your leg again, and it finally healed. Meanwhile, very well could be the soft bed that killed him. I didn't witness him die. I witnessed him, literally, I'm going to the mailbox real quick. We have a package. And then I heard him crying. I'm like, Mom. And I went in, and he was all right. Okay, so I said, Mom, Omar's crying. But then he was crying again. I said, Mama's crying. Can you come in here and watch him just while I run to the mailbox real quick? So I had my mom come in. And then Omar was dead. So a friend thinks he had a heart attack. I think for him to have a heart attack when he was healthy overall, you know what I mean? He wasn't having any illness or any, I think he was just tired, just ready to go, just, I get shock, and I guess the panic of not being able to stand up, I guess, I really don't know what happened. He's dead, and I can't even believe it because it's also possible that he had a panic thing that brought on one of those breathing. You know how they have the reverse sneezing? And maybe having that reverse sneezing or something. I have seen him have the reverse sneezing and like choke, like cough up something a little bit, throw up, not really a lot, but a little bit. So it's possible, I guess, that he had one of those, it brought on by stress and panic of being in the soft bed instead of just relaxing and going to sleep, and panicking and being unable to stand up, even more so. Maybe that bed was the worst that I could have for him. I didn't know. All I know is he's been in it before, and so this could have happened before. Maybe he had a reverse sneezing thing brought on by panic of being in the soft and really just sinking down in it, because that's how those soft beds are. You sink in them. And maybe he choked. All I know is he wasn't crying and I ignored him. Remember, there's a whimpering and then there's screaming. The minute he started screaming, I was in there. Okay? The minute he started, like, and then I was sitting with my mom watching. But again, he didn't smother. He was in under blankets, like, but I've had so many close calls. It's just the price of having him get this old and still be alive. It's so many close calls. He was almost smothered under that spread that time. I'm like, okay, I'll never use that in there again. And in this instance, he wasn't smothered. I would have found him smothered, if he choked. I made sure there was no food up in his jowls. Ever since I learned he stores it up there sometimes when he's eating, I check with my fingers. There was no food. So it would have to be that if he threw up, if he regurgitated, and then, I don't know. I'm never going to know. I can't believe he's gone. But it was going to happen. He wasn't going to get any better. He eventually, like I was telling a friend, was going to be able to not walk at all. The not walking thing wasn't going to get any better. As in the walking and then stumbling, walking with difficulty. I don't know. For all I know, he was in physical pain from that, and I don't even know. But I know damn well he was in mental pain because you could hear it in his crying. And if he doesn't have to go to the bathroom and has just had a nice big meal and he's happy and full and whatever, and he won't stop crying in his pen, it's his dementia fucking with his brain and just going in a loop where he can't accept that he can't stand up. He can still walk, he can't stand up. That's reality. It's getting really difficult to take care of him, that's for sure. Because again, he sleeps different hours than me. He can sleep for hours during the day, and then when I want to sleep, he's wide awake, and we go back in a circle. He's crying because he can't stand up in the pen. Okay? Foot guy periodically sends me emails. I've told him repeatedly I'm not interested. I'm not going to get together with you. And then one time he said, well, if you tell me to stop contacting you, I'm not even going to tell you to stop contacting me because you know I'm not interested. I'm not interacting with you. You can free to watch my videos. Anyone's free to watch my videos, okay? My dog just died. Not that that would matter one way or the other. I'm still not, you know. I'm not interested. That ship has long sailed. Long sailed. This ship sailed the minute you terrified the shit out of me by talking about killing me and putting my body in your freezer. The fact that you were joking doesn't matter because at that moment I 100% believed it was about to happen. I'm glad you're sorry. And you say, why can't I forgive you? I do forgive you. You didn't do anything to me. But forgiving you doesn't mean I want to have anything to do with you. Where's that peace? Tonight the body has to stay here. I can't do anything, you know. My mom canceled her piano. I'm like, Mom, you gotta cancel your piano appointment. I don't have a good sense of smell. It says that it could start, you know, I put the air's on, so it's not hot, but for all I know, it's already started smelling in my room and I just can't smell it. Plus I've been crying and my nose is all stuffed up. Friend's gonna help tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm supposed to go and put my baby in a bag. thinking it's a dream. And he's gonna, this hasn't happened. I don't know how people deal with people who they're so close to dying. I don't know how people deal with that, but I can't even deal with my dog dying. And God answered your prayers, Laura. You said you didn't want to be put in that position where you had to have him euthanized, and I didn't. But I thought that it would be, if I didn't have to have him euthanized, that he would someday die, of old age in his sleep or something. He didn't die in his sleep. He died traumatized, but just like that. He actually died the way I've always said that I wished I would die if I have to die. Where even if you suffer for briefly. And most people don't die in their sleep. But even, like I said, if you're, for example, if you die instantly because you're shot, or who died recently in the news? Not a famous person. Someone died, and they said that it was instant, that like they didn't suffer. That's the way anybody would want to go. Nobody would want to go, as I've given you an example, like that couple literally celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary, the day that they're slaughtered by a madman in front of each other, including the woman's mom 97, and them in their mid-70s, slaughtered, stabbed to death. They fought back, and they tried to protect each other, and they were in a horror movie, and they didn't have any doors unlocked or whatever. He was a neighbor, and he broke in through the basement window and slaughtered them. That's how you don't want to die. Nobody chooses how they die in this thing. It's self-chosen. My Omar didn't any longer have the greatest life, but like I said, a lot of dogs, pets, they don't, and the owners don't euthanize them, Laura says spend a lot of money trying to save them. So I got spared, would have been worse if Omar had broken his back or neck or something, but was still alive and just in agony and screaming, and there'd be nothing that I could do. That would be hell. That would be absolutely awful. My Omar's not like that. Crying one moment of death the next. Cries were like the usual cries, though. They were the usual kind where, I don't want to be in this pen, I can't stand up, come get me, mommy, Come get me, mommy. He has such a good life. Oh my God. He was just to envy him. Omar had such a good life. He was so loved, so pampered, even by my abusive ex. Treated me like shit, but for the most part, just treated Omar good. Again, it wasn't that he was abusive towards Omar, it's just there's more to loving a pet than loving a pet. You also have to care about their health and invest money into taking care of their health and whatnot. But Donald did shower Omar with love. He did. Whether it was, Donald loved and Omar loved him. A wonderful dream. Omar. You think he's still alive and then wake up and you guys know, I knew it was nearing the end for him, but they also just bought him $100 bottle of CBD. As if the only thing I'm battling, the only thing I was fighting against, remember, ever since I started giving him those supplements from Dog Naturally, the 4-leaf rover, phenomenal poo-poos, phenomenal. He used to occasionally, before I started giving him the supplements, probably the probiotics that would do it. It would do it for us too, but he'd still occasionally have diarrhea. Before when he was on his chewy duck and sweet potato. But even when he was still on the chewy duck and sweet potato, and he was on the probiotic. I think I can't prove it. I wish I'd done the reviews, because I was gonna do pictures, and I would just have my baby out there forever. I don't just I take a whole bunch of supplements. I don't know if any one supplement, natural supplement is doing anything. You just believe and trust the company, and I take a whole bunch of different things. I can't prove that it's helping me. Same with Joe. He takes even more than I do. But you take them anyway. With Omar, if I started giving him one thing, and then if you notice improvement, we give a whole bunch, you're not sure. Doesn't matter. The fact is, it was getting more and more difficult to take care of him. I tried to go to bed last night, and again, he wouldn't stop crying in the bed. He wouldn't stop crying. He wouldn't stop crying. I eventually had to have him sleeping on top of my chest, and that wasn't comfortable at all. So I was lucky, because sometimes he wouldn't even do that. I was lucky I got him to fall asleep next to me in the soft bed. But he fell asleep next to me and slept 7 hours. So it was these little bursts of, oh, my baby's gonna live for years more, Other dogs lived for years, and Omar was always healthy. And over 16 years. So he was born February 16th, 2007. And he died July 7th, 2020. I tore down all the pictures, tore them all down. I don't want to look at them, Gotta get rid of all the stuff, too. I'm so grateful that I didn't have to make that decision like Nancy did with her odd to have him euthanized. I'm grateful that I didn't have to watch him start to really, really suffer, and then realize that it's that time I have to do it. Nancy wasn't going to wait till her otter was really, really suffering. She took it upon herself to that's why she second-guessed herself, Nancy, the longtime editor of Full Dog Journal. So I need to notify all those things. Stop sending me stuff, please. My baby is gone. Please don't send me things anymore. Not from Chewy, not from Full Dog Journal, not from Pet thing, or I don't know. Not from Talk Naturally. Not from where I get his drops. Throw away the containers of the food. People can have the containers if they want them. I don't know if anybody wants those airtight containers. Staring at Chewy boxes, HeartGuard Plus. I also, someone have to spend $5 in shipping. I got a $1 thing just to save $4. That arrived today. $108 Dog Naturally order is going to arrive soon.